Hi, I'm Tracey L. Fisher, the host of Reentry Point of View. Thank you for joining us. Today, we have my good friend, Zac Shaffer. How are you?
I'm doing well, Tracey. Thanks for having me on your show.
That's
Appreciate
good,
it.
man. Thank you for being here. Let me give you a background on Zac and I. I met him one time at a gathering. I don't even know which gathering it was. But every time I show up, he was always there, and it was always community issues. So I liked him from there. We exchanged numbers, and we became Facebook friends, so we followed each other a lot. I never even knew he was an attorney, to be honest with you. I never did, because I never asked what you do. I just like the fact that you was always there. He always stood. You can see he's a pretty tall guy, so he's always stood in the background, and he observed everything. And one day, he announced he was running for judge. And it was a no-brainer, because I've never seen any other judges where you was at. And I'm a firm believer soldiers run into soldiers on the battlefield. I'm a firm believer in that. So I take honor in having him on my show to speak to my audience here. So welcome. Give me some background on you. What do you do for a living?
So what I do for a living is I'm a criminal justice attorney, and I'm a criminal justice advocate. What I mean by that is that some people spend their whole time in the courtroom. They run a business. That's all they do. In addition to my business, my law firm, where I'm a partner, Zac Shaffer, I also go out in the community and try to change things. I'll give you a great example. We work with a group, Unity in the Community, which is a nonprofit that is trying to reduce gun violence in South Philadelphia, which is where I live. Every year we have an expungement clinic where 100+ people come, have their records checked, and they have their records expunged free of charge. I put that together with other attorneys because I've been blessed. I've been able to go to law school, have a law firm, make decent money. Why can I not give back to the community? How can I help the community? This is where I live in South Philadelphia. I see people, I had one young man that came in who said, I can't get a job. They said it's something with my record, but I don't know what it is. The reason he didn't know what it was, Tracey, is because he had 3 cases that were all dismissed. He didn't realize that they were still on his record. So the employer would come in, they'd look at his case and they'd say, oh, well, this is null pros. They don't know Latin. They don't know that that means the case is dismissed. They just see he was charged with something. So that young man was able to get a job going forward because his record became clean. It was clear. We need to have people that are going to advocate, not just from the bench or in the courtroom, but in the community, and that's what I've been doing. That's why I say I'm not just a criminal defense attorney, I'm a criminal justice advocate.
Now, what was the defining moment that you said, you know what, I'm going to run for judge?
There's been many defining moments. If you go to the criminal justice system and the criminal justice center, you will see injustice every day. And then I'll just give you an example of something that happened to me 2 weeks ago. I had a young man who has 4 children. He's 25 years old. He has a demon on his back, and that demon's addiction. And I'm sure that you know when a lot of people in our community deal with addiction, and it makes them do horrible decisions. He has never had treatment in his life. So instead of me just walking in and saying, look, I'm going to work your case out, I'm going to get you this, get you that, the first thing I did is I got him set up with an inpatient treatment facility before the judge ordered it, because I knew that if I got him out that day, it would have done nothing for him. He would have gone out, he would have hit the streets, he would have gone right back to the drugs. So I said, look, we need a game plan. I'm going to get you an inpatient treatment facility to go to. The director of the inpatient treatment facility came to court and told the judge, give me this young man. Let me take charge of him until we come back for sentencing. And she said, oh, I'm not going to do that. He needs to sit a little bit longer. We'll see. Maybe I'll let him out. And here's my problem. Why are we warehousing people that are nonviolent offenders? I told the judge what the problem was. He has 4 kids. What are those 4 children going to do? When their father, maybe she gives him another year on top of how long he's already said. That's a year that they don't have their dad. That's a year that he doesn't have his drug treatment. I could go back and tell you hundreds of stories because we elect people that don't go into the community, that are not criminal justice advocates. They might have spent their whole career prosecuting, just getting notches on their belt, not caring what happens.
Absolutely.
It's not a game. You're dealing with people's lives. Unless you've been to every part of the city, which is where I've been, you don't know how to distribute justice, how to help people.
Well, I am a firm believer in you need fair judges. And I'm going to tell you why. the sentence I received, the 25 years, which is 300 months, was unfair. Did I deserve some time? Absolutely. But the sentencing that they're giving out now, you don't have no bounce back. I'm the last of the bounce back. I went in my 20s and come out in my 40s, so my 30s is gone. I had 4 children out there, right, young. I didn't get to see them because of a judge decided to give me 2 decades and a half. A young man in your courtroom with a drug case, and I had a gun possession, right? And it calls for that type of time, or you can be lenient. What circumstances that would have to go, like what they call mitigating circumstances, would have to be for you to understand not to give him all that time?
Well, first off, somebody doing 25 years, in my opinion, needs to have a body, somebody in a coma, somebody in a wheelchair, because first off, you were talking earlier in the other segment about how much money it costs to put somebody in jail, right? In Philadelphia, it's $42,000 a year to house somebody in state prison. So if I'm gonna invest that much money to put someone away for 25 years, it means they need to be someone that is not able to be rehabilitated. So to me, there's 2 types of people. There's the people that we are gonna rehabilitate, which is the vast majority, or the people that have continually been so dangerous that we don't have another choice, right? So I have a question to shoot this back to you. How would your life have been different if instead of 25 years you had 15? Would you have learned everything that you felt that the judge was trying to teach you by giving you that kind of sentence?
Well, absolutely. Because when I went in at 89, by 95, I was ready to go mentally. But I still had all that time to sit, so I just started doing other things and building up so I can come out and do this. But absolutely, because it's called an aha moment in life. And nobody can determine or predict when that aha moment happens. My aha moment came in 95. But yet I still had to sit to 2012. And I even wrote the judge and tried to get back in court and so forth, but he wasn't having none of that. Which is okay, fine. So now that I'm home and I advocate for a lot of individuals, and I know a lot of judges now, and I've been in their courtroom and I watch how they conduct themselves. Most judges, not all, but most judges believe they God in their courtroom. They play with people's lives, they talk to them foul, they talk to them like they idiots, where they're not human beings. And that's not cool, because the public is the one that puts you in office. But yet, when you get in office, you disrespect the public. So how do you feel about that?
Well, that's just not acceptable. You're a community servant. You're there for the community puts you there, and there's this thing, black robe disease, which some people get. You're right, they're absolutely not God. But I want to move back just real quick and talk about the sentence that you got. So let's break this down like we were Donald Trump on the previous section, okay? So 25 years, but it took you 6 years to get that epiphany. How would your life have been different if the judge said, Mr. Bishop, I'm going to give you 7 years, but I'm going to give you a very long probation tail. Now, if I see that you're out there and you pick up even a misdemeanor, I'm going to put you back, because that means that you're not taking this serious.
Absolutely.
I think that you might have been able to spend more time with your children, right?
Absolutely.
You could have potentially worked, right? You could have been a taxpayer, right?
Absolutely. I would have been.
Yeah, but instead, it cost us how much?
It cost y'all $700,000 to keep me, because at that time y'all was only receiving $32,000 a year from me for housing me, clothing me, feeding me, which you could have kept your house. The clothes didn't fit and the food was terrible. So how you gonna give me how you gonna charge me $32,000 a year? Then when I come home, I can't even get that to go to school. I gotta pay you $30,000 to go to school. Now that just don't make no sense. And that's reality. Now I'm in my children's lives, but I see, even though they grown, I see where my absence was missing in some of their decisions that they make. I really do. And thank God I'm home now, because I have 9 grands, but I was able to be home for 2 of them to be born. The rest of them, they don't know me far as from youth, from first being born, but the 2 that do, all they know is pop in their life. You understand? So if I just got to 7 years, I'd have been in all their lives. Now, not taken away from me, because I did deserve to go to jail because I was hustling. I was a menace to society, preying on the community, so that's supposed to happen. But the length of the sentence. This is what I'm talking about. Because it's individuals that's incarcerated right now that should be home. And the judge know they should be home. Because, leading to this question, would you bring personal attitude to the courtroom?
My personal attitude is one of somebody that's laid back and is respectful to everyone. Because every person that comes in front of you is a son, a daughter, they might be a father, a brother, a sister, and you have to realize that. And my big question, should be the first question every judge asks. Why are we here today? What can we do so that I will never have to see this person in a criminal court again? And that's not what's being asked. That's the problem. Oh, let me just briefly look at the guidelines. Well, you went to a jury trial, so I'm going to give you consecutive sentences, and that way the next person that comes in front of me is going to plead out because I want to be home by 1 o'clock. Mm-hmm. No, that's not justice. That is not what people vote for if they were educated about judges.
Right.
So I personally have a big problem with that, and we have a 30% poverty rate here in Philadelphia. People do not think about the consequences of incarceration when it goes too far.
Absolutely.
They don't think that, okay, this person doesn't have a father anymore or a mother. Who's going to take care of them? The state's going to take care of them. What's the likelihood they're going to graduate high school if they don't have a parent in their life? It's lower. What happens when they don't graduate high school? All of these effects, they're collateral consequences that are devastating. You can see it right here in Philadelphia. We spend only $400,000 a year on reentry in Philadelphia, but we spend almost $1 billion on the criminal justice system.
It's unbalanced.
Imagine going to the hospital and they say, and you have a horrible wound, you're in the emergency room, they say, well, we have some medicine for you. It's a quarter of an Advil. That's the approach we have right now, and it's wrong.
So you're not getting the full effect.
No.
And now that you're running for office, for judge, right, and me personally, I'm going to say this to my fans, he's going to win. What you going to do your first day in office?
I'm going to start helping people because that's why I'm running. That's why I've dedicated my life to advocating for the community in the field of criminal justice. So the first thing I'm going to do is there's a program right now called Focus Forward, where if it's your first or second offense, it's a felony that's nonviolent, they put you in community college. You go for 3 semesters for free on a Pell Grant by the federal government. If you have any issues like you need parenting classes, job training, they provide that for you. After your 3 semesters, your charges are withdrawn if you're successful.
Wow.
A year after that, your charges are expunged. We have thousands of people that are eligible for this program because it's a lot of drug arrests. I have a client right now in it that is a mother. She has 2 children. She had a drug arrest that had a mandatory 3 to 6 year sentence. And she's in this program instead. She's getting an education, a college education, instead of 3 years of incarceration. She gets to be a mother. So here's my problem. Great program, right? There's only 4 people in it. What a tragedy that with all the problems we have in Philadelphia, we can only find 4 people to put in this program.
Well, how did they promote it though? Because I never even heard of that, and I'm kind of like on the point. How did that happen? Who came up with that? That's beautiful.
It is. And when I get in office, you're going to hear a lot more about it.
Okay, so also, are you going to be willing to work with grassroots programs?
I work with everybody. Why not? The system's broken. We're going to try everything we can. We're going to throw the kitchen sink at it, see what works.
Well, this is what I want you to do, because we're closing out. I want you to say to my audience, right, the reason why on May 16th they should go and vote for you personally.
Number one, if you're part of Tracey's audience, you know that Tracey's endorsed me, so hopefully that's reason enough. We've had a lot of conversations, but to give you the 1-minute speech, it goes like this. We have a 30% poverty rate. We have a broken criminal justice system. You have the ability to put 13 judges on the bench. And I'm asking you to vote for me because I'm a criminal justice advocate that has dedicated thousands of hours to pro bono work, expunging people's records, helping the community. And because I've always represented people, not the government, I know what people need when it comes time for sentencing. And every person that comes in front of me, I'm going to ask this question every single time. What can I do to make sure that your life is whole when you come out and that you never come in front of me again?
Wow. Thank you. I'm Tracey L. Fisher. You're tuned into Reentry Point of View with my guest, Zac Shaffer.
Thank you, Tracey.
Thank you.